Hey, we're Mads and Dan, and we're travelling around Australia in our self-converted van, Rio.
In this video, we take our final trip in Rio to Crescent Head. We'll explain why it's our final trip and also answer some of the questions that we are often asked about van life. We are finally able to get back on the road. We're allowed to travel outside of Sydney, which is great. So we're just headed up the coast to Crescent Head, which is our favourite campground in New South Wales. Hopefully we'll be able to get some surf and yeah, just enjoy our final trip in Rio, which is super sad to even say, but we've got some exciting plans coming, so yeah, it's very bittersweet, but we'll have a good send-off for Rio. We finally made it. It's took a bit longer than planned because there was so much traffic on the road, but made it to the bakery. Got spinach and feta pasty.
Nice.
What are we doing?
Getting the gas bottle refilled. So old mate's just busy filling it now. Just had some lunch at the bakery, and then we're going to head into our campsite. Yeah, hopefully the road's not in too bad condition. Sometimes the road from Crescent Head to the nice national park sites can be pretty potholey and corrugated, but they do attend to it quite frequently. It looks like they've paved the road which was once horrendous.
We have just arrived and scored ourselves an epic spot. It is so much less busy than the last time we were here, which is just awesome. We've got all this space. Oh, the ocean is literally right there. We just need to unpack a bit. We kind of just shoved everything in the van this morning, so got a bit of tidying to do. Went for a swim. Pretty wild out there. Very different to how it is usually. A bit messy, but it's normally really cruisy longboard waves. Nice to have a swim and have a little bath in the ocean.
Alright, Mads, so this is a question we often get, and I've pulled this one straight from the YouTube. Where's the private toilet and shower? Wouldn't be without mine. Every lady deserves one.
So the private toilet and shower does not exist. That's why you can't see it. We have the bucket shower, which you might have seen in some of our videos. It is essentially a bucket, a DC powered shower pump, which then takes water out of the bucket and holds it above your head, and we fill that up with kettle water. Other than that, in terms of shower, I just had a shower at the beach. They're cold, but it's kind of warm most of the time in Oz, so you can get away with that. Or we go to servos. You can pay $3 for a servo shower, or just go in the ocean. That's what Dan does. Ocean baths. We also sometimes go to swimming pools, which is a really good one to do. We did that a bit in tropical North Queensland, where you can't really swim in the ocean as much. You can just pay for a swim and then also get a shower. In terms of toilet, we don't have one. We've never had an issue with not having one. Lots of people have little compostable ones or whatever, but to be honest, it's never been an issue. We just go to the kind of toilets that are everywhere around Oz. Most campsites have toilets, or just just got to kind of adapt to. You obviously can't go all the time, so sometimes you've got to have it. But yeah, we've actually never had an issue with not having a bathroom.
No, we are prepared for an emergency though. We do have a shovel if needed.
Yeah, we've never used a shovel yet, but we're prepared. But obviously we don't ever leave a trace. When we were designing the van, we wanted everything to be multifunctional. Our sink lid is the perfect cheese board. No, is it? So, question about the conversion. How long did the conversion take?
3 or 4 months, I think. That sounded about right.
Yeah.
But that obviously wasn't then full time. So I did take 2 days off work at one point, and then I did 4 straight days, and the progress of that was really, really good. I think that a build like this could have been done full time in between 2 weeks to a month, maybe.
Also depends on your proximity to a Bunnings.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of Bunnings trips I did was endless, but yeah, it just depends how well you've planned it and how good you are with your tools, I guess. I had never really built anything of significance before, so this was definitely a very fun project for me. I managed to do everything, with some help here and there from a few builder friends, but overall it was, anyone could build it, honestly.
What's cooking?
We're having poke bowls. Salmon poke bowls to be specific.
Okay, we've got a pretty long one.
Yep.
Okay, so a few questions. How do you find the height of the master? We are both 6 foot. Also, have you had any issues with the car itself? Would you have done anything differently with your build? I'm just going to say we talked about what we would maybe do differently in a YouTube video, so we'll link that.
As for the height, I'm 6'4". I can, this is not uncomfortable to stand this way, so it's good. And I added this skylight so I can stretch out if I need to.
And any issues with the car itself?
No, we've never had any issues. It's actually amazing. Brag about it all the time to friends and family, just how reliable the car is, really. We've put nearly between 40 and 50,000 kilometers on it, since October last year, so just over a year. And we've serviced it, but I mean, outside of that, there's literally been no issues. And obviously, we've done things like replace the brakes, the brake pads, and the regular oil changes and things like that. But it is amazing. These things were designed to do 1 million miles, so that's 1.6 million kilometers. And yeah, I actually believe that it can do it.
Yeah, want to try?
Would have to do quite a few laps.
Thank you. Okay, so we've had a few questions about the off-roading in Rio. 1, I'm not sure about taking it off the bitumen and onto the gravel. How did you decide? 2, did you get your suspension upgraded?
So we have not had any suspension upgrades, and Rio weighs 3.5 tons. That includes our water, full pantry, everything on board, all the stuff we take with us. we've taken Rio on many non-bitumen roads, dirt, or even a few that say four-wheel drive only. Typically, if there's a road that says four-wheel drive only, then we do like a fair bit of research beforehand, read reviews, see what other people have said, who else has been there, word of mouth kind of thing. If it's just a dirt road, then you just drive to the conditions really. Most of the corrugated roads are perfectly fine for two-wheel drives and vans. It's gonna shake like crazy really, like everything gets shaken around, including us. But you just drive to the conditions and you go at an appropriate speed. There are some corrugated roads that kind of glide over the bumps, but there's been other corrugation where we've literally been going 10 kilometers an hour for hours or less. It just really depends on the condition and the road itself.
It's so nice being back in Rio and parked up right next to the ocean. I don't know if you can hear, but through our fan you can just, except for Dan trying to kill flies.
Unsuccessfully.
You can just hear the ocean. It's so nice and calming.
It is very calming.
Yeah. You get him?
He's dead.
Just woke up. It is actually 7:50, which is really late for us. Waking up from the van. We normally wake up late as the sun rises. We had a bit of a disturbed night's sleep. After like 2 hours of being asleep, I was boiling because our fan wasn't open because the surfboards were on it. So Dan, a hero, jumped onto the roof deck in the middle of the night to move boards. So thanks, Dan. I just walked over to the beach and it is so much more calm. Still not good for a surf. Oh, it's so much nicer.
Go for a run. It'll be a nice little change of scenery from the city runs we've been doing lately. So I'm gonna go towards Point Ploma, which I don't know if I'll make it that far, but I'll either do a 5 or a 10k.
Nice.
The loading started right.
Camping so close to the ocean is just the best. Nothing beats a morning swim. Storms are brewing.
Very refreshing.
Post-run
Bath.
Yeah. Oh, it looks ominous.
Alright, Mad, so another question is, how did you choose the name?
Rio's name or Tranquila's?
I guess both.
So Rio's name, we actually were playing around and we kind of wanted it to rhyme or go well with Renault. And then we went for Rio for Renault because the last place we'd been overseas together was Rio de Janeiro. So he's named after Rio de Janeiro, which is where we were in December 2019. Then Tranquila Travels. So basically when we met in Colombia, some Colombian guy kept saying like Tranquila. Like, I'm a bit more
High stress.
than Dan, so then from then onwards Dan would be like Tranquila, por favor.
Which translates to relax, please.
Relax, please. So yeah, relax, chilled out travels. It sounds like tequila, how you pronounce it. Lots of people don't know how to pronounce it. Tranquila.
And the name will still work no matter where we travel in the world as well.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted one which wasn't just necessarily Vanlife related.
Or fixed on Australia.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for some worldwide travels.
Yeah, Tranquila goes worldwide. Mr. Worldwide's up for it.
These trousers are too tight for that.
Let's go. You may be the only van lifer who has a briefcase.
Gotta get shit done.
So we're just headed back into town. It's actually such a game changer that the road isn't dirt anymore, because it means we can just kind of go in and out of town, which is ideal because we're really craving a cafe breakfast. They have some nice cafes in town, so we're going to go to one of them. And Dan also wants to do a bit of work, and the signal where we are exactly camping isn't good, but you can walk like 100 meters and there's signal. But we obviously, Dan doesn't want to just sit on the ground on his laptop, so we're going to go in and we'll probably check out some of the beaches like around the main town, and then we'll come back. We just got back to the campsite. We've never seen the main beach in Crescent Head before. Because we've always just come to the national park, and it's so busy, and the caravan park's right there, so it wasn't that nice. So we're back to Racecourse Campground, where the beach has literally only the people in the campsite in it, and I can currently see only 3 other people in the campsite. Dan's gonna do some work on Rio. We have obviously made a few changes.
So we've made a few upgrades to the van, one of which is that we've changed our wardrobe doors. Previously, as you would have seen in our videos, we lifted them upwards with a little gas strut, but the many kilometers that we've done on the corrugation basically broke that. So instead now we've gone for doors that open out as such, and then like this one opens at the back, and then just super nice and easy to get into.
Yeah.
And much better latches this time. We've got these pin and these ones that hold it nicely, so then it goes closed, and it'll take a lot for that to be opened. So yeah, now we just got to sand them and paint them, and then yeah, they'll look great.
And you've done a full paint job over the van?
Yeah, the whole van's been painted. The ceiling, the kitchen, the slide out kitchen, the drawers, every part has been painted.
Fresh.
So it looks pretty good.
Dan's gonna paint those again. We need another layer. Just as we're getting ready to sell Rio, which we will explain why at the end of this video. Yeah, Dan's done such a good job getting Rio up to scratch, ready for someone else to look after him.
It's all coming together quite nicely.
we don't have these every day, only on special occasions.
That's not really that true. We like a cheese board.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mads.
It's alright.
So this weekend I have a race on. I have like a real nice race car that my dad and I built together, and this weekend we're a support category to the V8 supercars. So I've just been emailed by the TV crews. It's questions like, what is your greatest life achievement? And
I think you should say building the van, but Dan disagrees.
the van's a good one, but it's just
How quickly do you drive your race car?
as fast as I can. It can go to nearly 300 kilometers an hour, and that it's fast.
So it's a lot faster than this bad boy. What other life achievements? Snagged yourself an English girlfriend?
I'll think of something else.
So Dan, I'll let you take this one. Top 5 pubs / breweries you've been to on the road.
Alright, well I think number 1 is definitely Bolter Brewing. We love their beers, and their brewery in the Gold Coast is just epic. Number 2 would be Pirate Life in Port Adelaide. Their beers are just awesome. Also very creative in their types of beers they make. And the brewery itself was in the industrial area. Awesome. Highly recommend that one. Stone and Wood Brewery is great in Byron. Not too far out of town, 5 minutes, and they've also, again, delicious beers, really fun brewery, very chilled vibes. So been to that one a few times as well, definitely like that one. Number 4 was a pub, but also they do brew their own beer, the Yamunde Brewery / pub in Yamundi, and yeah, that one's epic. I was actually blown away by their pale ale. Wasn't expecting anything crazy, and yeah, it was delicious. And the pub's epic. Number 5, I would say in Coober Pedy, there is
The Big Winch.
the Big Winch. That place was really cool. So it's a newish pub. They don't brew their own beer, but the pub was epic. You can watch the sunsets, really nice. Outback sunsets just hit different anyway, but that was epic. We've seen tons and tons of pubs on the road, so to narrow it down to 5 is a bit tricky, but yeah, hopefully that list is good.
So we've been talking about when we sell the van, how are we going to preserve the stickers? And we've got this one, which is from the place where we met in Colombia, Casa na Agua. Using South Australia and Victoria, some Crescent Head, which is where we are now, Noosa, Byron, and I love all the ones we got on our most recent trip. This Stewart one's so cool, the Uluru one, Maggie Island, the whole of Queensland, off the north. This is so cool. The Sandy van, our friends gave us the town of 1771 as well. So many good memories, and we don't really know how we can keep them.
Alright babe, so another question we have is curious as to what you do for a stove when it's raining. Do you have a canopy or do you have an inside setup too?
So we don't have an official stove for inside. We do have one of those portable gas burners which we've used twice to put the kettle inside. But to be honest, we've been really lucky with rain. It's kind of the beauty of the van, you can move around wherever. I've got this awning which we've used a few times, but it's drizzling, then we can still look underneath. We once, before we got that single burner, moved the stove inside, which I don't think is very health and safety.
Well, the inside there above that, underneath that, lifts up. These are some big ass chilies we found.
Okay, let me give it a one.
Oh my gosh.
So the whole day it has literally been us, one couple, and I think one other group on the whole campsite. And got to 5 o'clock and it is rammed. It's so crazy. We've got such a good spot, but it's funny to see. still better than a caravan park where your awnings pretty much touch and you can hear the next door caravan go to the loo. So Chico, we have a question for you. What is your favourite aspect of van life?
I think I like the kind of the flexibility to go where you want and spend as much time as you want there. And then kind of on a tangent of that is you end up seeing so many places that you never thought you would see. There are towns that I didn't know existed, which now, you know, we love and we can't wait to get back to. Even entire like states, really. Like prior to Mads coming over, I did not have any real desire to spend a lot of time in South Australia, and that's honestly probably been our favourite place. So I think it's a combination of the flexibility to see places, but then also the insane amount of awesome spots that are around Australia that you just don't know exist yet. Mads, what's your favourite aspect of van life?
I love how much time we spend outside. Living in a van, it really forces you to first of all seek out national parks and like really beautiful places and beaches, but also like, we just spend the whole week, cook outside, shower outside. Also like how convenient, like you have everything with you all the time, which is nice. I've changed outfits like 5 times a day. If you ever need sauce, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Come to us.
Just ask.
Just ask. So, we have here, my beans can broke, so we don't have black beans, but we've got zucchini, red cabbage, halloumi, chilies, homemade salsa, guac, and tacos.
Can't wait, this looks so good.
Yum. We're gonna watch some Drive to Survive and then go to sleep. Night.
Hey, where'd you go? Did you like and subscribe?
Morning.
Morning. We are making what we anticipate to be our last cup of coffee with the beloved Renault.
So we just drove up from the campground, which is down there, up to the headland to get coffee with a view. Can't really beat it, to be honest. It's stunning. We're sad to be leaving Crescent and for this to be our last road trip in Rio, but we couldn't have chosen a better place to finish off our time in Rio. It's been such a lovely couple of days, and like
the weather's really turned up.
Yeah, the weather has turned it on so well for us. The only thing which didn't really turn it on is the surf, but maybe today people will get it. But we are headed to Port Macquarie today to do something that is kind of essential to our future travel plans. A technical question for you, Dan. So, how do you find having to use a solar blanket rather than a fixed solar panel? Where in the van have you guys kept your batteries inverter charger? What did you guys use for insulation, and did you include any sound deadening in the build as well?
We have a solar blanket, not a fixed panel, which I kind of like more. It folds up real small. We just keep it back here behind, like in between our seats, easy to grab out. The thing which is nice about that is we have 2 different size leads, so we've got a short one and a long one. But honestly, like if you're in a space of shade, you can go find the sun if your lead's long enough, which is always handy. Whereas typically, you know, with the fixed panel, if it's in the sun, then your van's in the sun, so then everything's going to be hot. We only ever use the solar blanket if we're, you know, camped somewhere for a few days, don't want to drive. Our battery can last like up to 5 days with a minimal use, as everything kind of was designed to draw a low current. So we've got a big battery under there, the charger there, the inverter sits on a shelf above the battery, and then the chargers and all the gauges are basically against the wall. For the sound deadening and insulation, so when the van was completely stripped out, I put earth wool in all the gaps in the sides of the van, because I took all the panels out inside. Then on top of that, I put basically like insulated foam. So it's like foam that's about 10 mil thick and it's covered in aluminium. So I put that all on the sides and on the ceiling. I did put sound deadening on the floor, like part of the floor build, just to reduce road noise. We've never been cold enough that I've wished that I put in more insulation. It depends where I think you'll spend most of your time. Obviously, if you're in the warmer climate, it's not really that necessary. But it is nice it is a well insulated van, and the insulation also forms as sound deadening in itself.
I just had to do a visa medical for a partner visa. I was super lucky to be able to get an appointment up in Port Macquarie, because there's no appointments in Sydney for months, like until next year and everything. So super lucky to have that.
Rio's thirsty. I'm gonna get a pie.
Are you?
Well, it'll probably be our last pie. We're not road tripping.
That's true. Clarify that.
Ah, you drama at the fuel stop.
Have you used one of these before?
I think I got caught like where the handle's broken. Just to clarify, I'm not getting a servo pie, even though there's nothing wrong with servo pies. They're nice.
Yeah.
Alright, are you getting in? Do you want anything?
No thanks.
Pretty good. Now everyone knows I'm a weirdo and I don't eat my pies with any sauce.
So, as we kind of alluded to throughout the video, we are selling Rio. We want him to go to a really good home, and to preferably a couple, but whichever, but anyone who will love Rio as much as we do.
Basically, that's why this is our last trip in Rio.
Yeah, I only got here in September 2020, and then like our first trip was October 2020, and we have seen so much more of Australia together in Rio than we could have dreamed of. Especially with the whole border closure situation, we have managed to travel the whole of South Australia, the Great Ocean Road in Victoria, all of Queensland, the Red Centre of the Northern Territory. We've done pretty much all of New South Wales as well, except for some of the South Coast. But like in reality, like the only places which we haven't done are the top end of NT, WA and Tassie. So much of WA and the top end of NT we would want a four-wheel drive to do. You can just see so much more with a four-wheel drive, and so we wouldn't have really have brought Rio over, and the WA border's been closed to us I think for the whole year essentially, except for like a couple of days, so it just was never gonna be an option. It's so far away as well. And then Tassie we would have loved to do, and one day maybe we will. So anyway, we are...
Long tangent over.
Yeah, long tangent over. We are so pleased with how much of Australia we have seen in Rio. Shown him around, Dan's shown me his cool country, and now we are going to my country. For like a variety of reasons, we want to go to the UK. We're really keen to explore more of the world, which is impossible from Australia at the moment, and we especially want to go get a van in Europe, which will just be so cool. We're just excited for all of that. We're going to try and keep some videos going, try and keep traveling. Like, we met traveling in Colombia, we both love it, so this definitely isn't the end. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened.
You know, we want to use the proceeds of this to further our next adventure in life. This stage it's seeming like that's going to be in Europe. Yeah, it's basically bittersweet to sell the van because we've had such an amazing time.
You built it?
Yeah, built it, and we've lived in it and everything, and it's just been a blast. But we're on to new things and a new chapter starting in our life. So sad about selling the van, but super excited for what the future holds.
So please keep following along. We'll definitely be bringing some European content hopefully soon. This is all prefaced on the fact that we can actually get home. You never know, we might be still here forever. But thanks for following along all our adventures. Stay tuned for more from Tranquila Travels. We would like to acknowledge and pay our respects to the Dunghutti people, the traditional owners of the land on which this video was made, and extend those respects to all other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.